Welcome back to AI Writing for Neophytes. My name is Scott from Barrier Breeze Studios. This video number 3, we're going to continue the process we started in video number 2 and expand the story that Claude and ChatGPT had helped us to write. I've actually consolidated those two outputs into a single document, and the link is in the description below. If you'd like to take a pause to review that document before we start editing it, please do so now. In this video, we're going to take that draft of chapter 1, hopefully you just reviewed it, and we're going to expand it. We're going to try and turn it into a real chapter of a book or a novel or a novelette or a short story. What I wanted to do is give you a better understanding of actually how I do that and the tools that I use to make that chapter come alive. So first, I'm actually using two 32-inch monitors. One monitor displays a Word document, which is the working chapter or working scenes of the story that I'm trying to embellish. The second monitor has two screens open. The first is showing Claude, and the second is showing ChatGPT. The monitors I am using happen to be Dell 32-inch monitors, which I checked on Amazon this morning. You can buy one for $149. I happen to buy them from a Dell outlet, Dell refurb site. The life of a monitor, if you Google this, is somewhere between 30 and 60,000 hours. In layman's terms, that's somewhere between 10 and 20 years. So a refurb monitor in my book is just fine if I can save the dollars. The version of Claude.ai I am using is Claude 3.5 Sonnet. I do pay for Claude. It is I'll call it a nominal monthly license fee to use Claude because I am writing so much. ChatGPT, I believe I also pay for, but it's also available free. Now, let's talk about my process. My process, the one that I am comfortable with, is I use Claude as my main writing partner. He is primarily my ghostwriter. And you can see on the screen, this is where we finished in video 2. ChatGPT is where I go because I have questions I don't understand, or in this scenario, the young man wakes up on a sandy beach. Is it white sand? Is it brown sand? Is it rocky? There's a section in there where he's looking for food and he finds some nuts. Well, if my story is going to be on an island, how likely is it to find nuts? So I'll ask ChatGPT, can you find nuts on an island? As you can see on the middle screen, I took the time to ask ChatGPT, is it possible to find nuts on an island in the middle of the Pacific? I want to make sure my story has some real aspects to it. That's important to me. If you're writing a straight fantasy, it probably doesn't matter. The third screen I'm going to introduce is pseudo-write. We're not going to use pseudo-write in this section of the video, but it is a tool that allows me to rewrite a paragraph or a scene that I'm uncomfortable that either Claude or ChatGPT is not writing the way I want to write it. And pseudo-write will allow me to put that paragraph, and pseudo-write will rewrite it in a couple variations. So it gives me an idea of how I may want to change my story. But we'll get pseudo-write in more details in a later video. So let's start expanding on chapter 1. One of the limitations of both Claude and ChatGPT is that I cannot upload my document. I need to highlight the chapter, and I need to do something called a cut and paste the chapter into Claude. We'll do that, and let's see how Claude analyzes the chapter. I am simply showing you how I highlight the chapter. I'm going to copy it, which is Control-C. Now I'm going to paste it into Claude, which is Control-V. And I'm going to ask Claude to analyze the chapter. So Claude came back with an analysis of what we have written. The first chapter was about 1,000 words, and some of it I'm interested in, not so much, but I get to the bottom here, and potential areas for development. Could add more distinctive features to the landscape. Well, I think that's a good idea because I think I'm going to have to define now whether I'm on an island or not. Might include some hints about his physical training and capabilities. I'm not sure I'm going to do that yet. But he wants me to add details about the appearance of our young man, which I think is a great idea because I personally don't have a visual of what this person looks like. And at the bottom sentence, you'll see is Claude asked me, do you want help to enhance particular elements of this chapter? And we're going to say yes. And specifically, I want more details about the landscape, and I want more details about this young man's appearance. So I asked Claude to give me a better description of the young man in the chapter, as well as where would he incorporate it. And so Claude responded. He gave us a description of the young man, and he told me specifically where to incorporate it. So I'm going to highlight that passage, and then we're going to cut it, copy it, and paste it back into the Word document. Here I am just showing you where I'm going to paste the new description of the young man into the Word document, which is Claude told me to put it right where he rose to his feet. And now we have our description of the young man in our chapter. So in asking Claude to add additional language to the landscape, I said, add some additional language to the landscape. In this particular case, I wanted the young man to see 3 mountains rising above the beach. The curve of the beach seemed to indicate he is on an island or perhaps a peninsula. There's a waterfall he can see falling high up in one of the mountains. Can you craft this description, and where should I add it to the chapter? And as you can see, Claude came back with a very nice description, and he told me exactly where to put it into the Word document for chapter 1. Going back to an earlier comment in the video, I wasn't really comfortable with having our young man find nuts. Didn't think that was appropriate for perhaps it's an island in the middle of the ocean. So I asked Claude to change it. Here's what I said. If our young man is on a deserted island in the middle of the ocean, I think you should find coconuts and bananas, perhaps some other easy to find food in his first few hours of being awake. Can you rewrite this scene? And I cut and pasted the scene in chapter 1 that I didn't like from the Word document. And Claude was very happy to come back and give me a completely different approach to the food he's going to find. And so I will cut and paste that back to our Word document and replace the nut scene. There's 2 more changes I want to make in this opening paragraph for this video. The first one, I want to expand the scene of him finding a shelter. In the end of the chapter, he sees a storm coming that he might get hit with, and he has no idea how dangerous that storm may be. So prudently, he should find better shelter. So I asked Claude. I said, I think we should expand our young man finding shelter. Boy, that's pretty easy. He looks up to the nearest mountain, wondering if there's an overhang or small cave that could shelter him from the storm. Can you add this new scene of finding shelter? Lo and behold, Claude obliges, and we have a nice set of paragraphs to add into our story. In reviewing what Claude had helped us write for chapter 1, I personally didn't think there was enough interest for the reader who'd want to continue to read on to chapter 2. So I decided to add a twist. And the twist was this. I asked Claude to give us one more scene, have the young man wake up after the storm passes. He looks out and from the glow of the moon sees his paradise in a new light as long as he can survive. As he glances at the night sky, he sees 2 moons. Though he doesn't know where he is or who he is, he knows he's never seen two moons before. So I asked Claude to write this twist. One final thing I think we need for our first chapter is like to have a title. It may not be the final title, but at least title for the story that I think we're working on. So I asked Claude, what do you suggest? He gave me 10 options. And from those 10 options, I think I like Tides of Memory as the first title of our story. So I wanted to show you back to how does our chapter look in Word. We're currently sitting at around 2,100 words when we started with 900 words. We're in a good spot. It has not been edited. The next video will look at how we can enhance and expand this chapter using either Claude or ChatGPT or pseudo-write. But in the meantime, everything we've done in this video is in the links below, including the story, as well as everything we've done in Claude. Thank you for listening. This is Scott from Barrier Breeze Studios. Please click the thumbs up. Please subscribe. And we look forward to seeing you in the next video. Have a great day.